So this evening's class, I'm going to start out on a bolster, but I've got my block. That's block, that's a bolster. The bolster's there ready. My bricks are within reasonable reaching distance as well, and I've got a strap um, for some of the postures we're going to do as well. So I'm going to start nice and easy, just seated. I'm going to take it with the legs just crossed. Let's just say that. So whatever is the easiest position for you to be in. If you actually want to be on the bolster rather than on the block, or if you want to be on the floor, that's equally good. But just giving ourselves a little bit of a chance to kind of a little introspective moment, see how our body feels, noticing if we've got any unusual feelings in our body that we haven't already discovered during the day already. Sometimes when you sort of sit still and relax a little bit, it becomes very evident where tight spots are in the body, and you might not have been aware of them during the day. You're maybe just pushed on through. Got to be very focused on the task rather than on how your body's feeling. Start to make more of an effort to let those legs relax, particularly through the hip areas. I'm going to start to take some gentle neck stretches. So simply slowly dropping your chin in towards your chest while keeping your body in as upright, seated position as possible. Start to take the breath in. We'll draw the chin over towards the left shoulder. We'll start to exhale. I'm going to let the eyes wander up the wall towards the ceiling. And then moving across as the direction of my breath changes over to the opposite wall. Then slowly down. And then finally along the floor. Bringing my eyes directly out in front of the legs. I'll take that slowly around the opposite way. You notice we're deliberately moving very slowly. We're taking a number of breaths to move the head around, because we want to try and release any tension or tightness in those neck muscles and allow the fibrous tissues roll over themselves and start to untangle. And I'm going to take it for a third time. So going back the original way. And gently lifting the chin. I'm going to come into butterfly pose. Now I'm going to keep the block. I'm just going to move it back a little bit further. So I've got my space. Well, the butterfly pose takes an awful lot of space up, but I'll make the most of what you've got. I'm going to bring the feet together. Now I work on a theory that I'm trying to get the legs in a sort of a diamond shape through here. So the soles of the feet are touching, the toes are just touching. And I wriggle a little bit from side to side as I start to lean forward just a fraction, but roll a little more onto the front edge of the sitting bones. And then this evening, I'm just going to take the hands onto the ankles and start to let myself bow down slowly. So I'm going to hinge from the hip, allow the pelvis to point backwards a little bit. Drop the head in and the chin. And I'm going to let myself just breathe. Now, although I've brought my arms on the inside of my legs, and I'm pretty much resting the back of my forearms on my ankle bones, just across the shins, you might find that you feel more comfortable with your arms underneath the legs or in some other position. So whatever feels good and allows you to sink down. We're trying to stretch into many parts of the spine and into the disc as well. We're just breathing easy, seeing how easy or not it is to stay in this position. Trying to relax the shoulders. Practicing the art of specifically letting go in the areas where we're feeling effort. Now, we always say in these classes, you need to take it at your own pace, your own level. You come down as far as you feel comfortable to go to, and then let yourself drop in the yin practice. The body will yield as we wait and just literally allow our body weight to settle ourselves into these poses. If there's any real pain in the joints particularly, then you need to move out and utilize props in some way. Or alternatively, you could do a different posture, not a problem. Really making it your own practice. Slowly lift the head. Use the hands to draw myself slowly back up. And then use the hands to draw the legs back in. And take a moment, just letting the legs sort of come back to life. Letting the blood drain from my head back down towards my heart. And then when you're ready, we're going to lay onto our belly. So you need a little bit of room out to the sides as we put the arms out. Sort of crucifix prone position. I'm going to move my block out to the front of the mat so I know it's out of the way. I'm going to lie down gently. I'm going to work on stretching the shoulders. So when you're ready, just laying down carefully. We lay down and take the arms out wide, in line with the shoulders, palms down, feet together. I'm going to take a little breath. I'm going to bring my right hand in first of all, and then press into that hand and roll gently over to the left side. Now you can drop your head down towards the ground. If it doesn't reach easily, you can take that block that we put at the front of the mat underneath your head just to give you a little support, so it's not sort of distracting you by the feelings that you're incurring in your neck. You want it to feel sort of in a happy place. The hips stacked on top of each other. We're talking about stacking. We're going to take the top foot and just slide that along the bottom leg until it reaches the knee joint, and then drop the foot to the floor behind your own knee. Foot flat to the floor, knee pointing up towards the sky. Going to lift the bottom leg just in itself the floor momentarily as I swing that foot forward towards the corner edges of the mat. So once I see it out the corner of my eye, without really turning my head down, drop the leg back down, and then I'm going to try and relax everything I can. Depending on your body, your history, perhaps environmental issues as well, like what you do for a job, it might mean that you're finding it tricky in different places to me. So wherever you do notice that you're holding tension, let's see if we can let those muscles relax. And we'll just sit here. We're going to bring the bottom leg back under from where it was. Take the top foot onto the leg again, slide both legs out. And then hopefully I can roll gently onto my chest. Wriggling the fingers out, waiting for your shoulder and your fingers to come back, especially if you've got any sort of signs of pins and needles in your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your neck. When you feel ready, you'll just swap over to the opposite side. You take your time to roll in. Again, using the block under the head if you need to. So the eyes are just pointing directly out to the long side of the mat. When you feel happy, you're going to slide your top leg. Just drop the foot behind the knee. Lift the bottom foot. Take that out to the corner edge. Drop it back down. We use that front bottom leg, the bottom leg, to really sort of help stabilize the body. We're trying to have the hips stacked on top of each other and opening the groins out a little bit. I tend to get cramp on this side of my body, the outer hip area. then we're going to let ourselves move out of that second side. So just slide in the bottom leg in, top foot slides out, rolling down gently, wriggling through the fingers again, wait for it all to come back to life. And then we can bring the hands a little closer in towards the body. We're going to carry on working on the shoulders this evening. So I'm now taking the feet about hip distance apart. And I'm going to lift the chest just using some of my back muscles. Looks like I'm coming into Sphinx pose, but it's not quite going to be like that. It's actually going to be a shoulder stretch. So I'm going to take my left hand under and out towards the right side. So I want that 90 degrees from the shoulder out. I want it underneath the chest rather than sort of underneath my throat. So take the right hand out and walk that across to the opposite side. So I'm seeing if I can keep the arms straight and the chest square to the ground. And then just basically down here, lay down on top of my arms. Take a nice breath and ease the chin down onto the arms. So there's a little bit of gap for your throat, so it's easy to breathe and swallow. You want to take a little breath in there, lifting the head. And out of that, you need to press the thighs down into the floor, draw the belly muscles in a little bit so you can take the weight out of your shoulders, and then walking their right arm out slowly, taking your time. It's out in front again. And then just bring the hand back a little bit so your shoulder comes back a little bit more. Press down and untangle. So just very loosely in Sphinx pose for a few moments, just to let those two shoulders come back to life a little bit. And then we'll lift up again, and we'll take it the opposite way round. So right goes under to left, left goes over the top. So right, have a little wiggle around, get comfy, and you're just dropping your chin against your arm. And start to come out of this side as well. Nice long breath in. Press the legs away and down. Lift the chest. Angle the arms. Draw the hand back a little bit. So you can take the second hand out. Now I'm going to bring hands a little more underneath me. All on whichever side you like. Bring your knees in towards your body and then use your hands that press into the floor to lift up slowly from the ground. Looking out for our spine. And I'm going to come into a kneeling position and start to use the strap. I'm going to use the bolster this evening to sit just on the end. The knees come together and feet go out a little wider than the hips. So I just know that one of my knees is a little bit dodgy at the moment and doesn't like spending a lot of time sitting in with compression on those joints. So since we're going to be here for quite a while, I'm just elevating myself up a little bit, making sure it's easy on my ankles and knees, etc. I'm going to take the strap. Now, if you have got a proper yoga strap and you've got a belt with a D-ring or some other kind of buckle, put the buckle into your left hand and bind the strap around your fist. And then you're going to take your left arm up and take the strap behind. So we're just going to slowly slide the hands together behind the back. I'm going to try and keep the elbow nice and high, just being conscious that you don't let your head get pressed forwards. And try and keep it as upright as you can. We don't make an effort to get as tight into these shoulders as we possibly can, because shoulders will move around a little bit as we play time here. So I'm letting the shoulders move towards the back of the mat, and we'll be here for a little while, breathing in and out. Close the eyes if you wish. Try and let those arms really relax behind us. Let ourselves release. And we'll move into the second side. So when you're ready, we're going to raise the arm, get the strap behind, feed the hands together. So we're trying to bring the hands in between the shoulder blades. And take a little bit of wriggling around to get into posture. And then we can start. And we just let ourselves release. And we'll put the strap out to the side. And we'll take a moment to let the shoulders relax from that. Ease the arms out to the side. And then a loose eagle arm. So I'm going to bring the right arm across, left arm over the top. Use palms together and then drop. Hopefully those elbows in towards the breastbone. Keeping the hands relatively close to the face. Try and soften the shoulders and let ourselves breathe. And we'll release. Again, we'll just let the shoulders relax for a little while. Noticing any differences in the shoulders. And we'll float the arms out wide again. Left arm comes over, right arm over the top. And then I'm going to release from there as well. Nicely let the shoulders have a little roll around. And then I'm going to slowly make my way up onto all fours. We're actually going to come down into Sphinx pose. So you could actually use the bolster underneath the chest. So you lay on top of against that rather than on your elbows. That's your choice. And first of all, though, because we've been sitting with the legs underneath us for a while, you're going to stretch those legs out and just wait for the blood flow to come back into the knees. So we'll take one leg, stretch it until it feels completely back to normal. And then you can do the opposite side. Rather than pumping the legs furiously, just take it one long, slow stretch inside. I get to move my bolster off to the side, out of the way for a moment, and then coming down onto the elbows. As I said, you could use the bolster underneath the chest, or just taking the elbows over the top and down to the floor. So it can be quite comfortable sometimes, using something to sort of lean into. Sphinx pose, doesn't matter whether your hands are parallel to each other or you're interlacing the hands lightly in front of you. Do you want to make sure your elbows are underneath your shoulders and that your shoulders weren't sort of jammed forward too much when you came into it. You want to sort of be somewhere happy in the middle. So that as you let your shoulders relax, your chest actually starts to sink down towards the ground. An alternative way of thinking about that is that your shoulders lift up to your ears. But we're trying to avoid getting in a position where we're being pushed forwards by our own shoulders. We're looking for the weight line to go straight down through the shoulders to the ground. The body just really hangs around on top of that. I surely need to drop the head. You can do. Some people like to do that. Some people like to look out in front. So it's your choice. I'm trying my best to try and relax the muscles in the lower back and the glutes. One thing that can help that a little bit is actually to turn your inner thighs inwards as far as you can. Alternative way of thinking of that is turning the heels out. If you start with that thinking that you're turning your inner thighs in, the heels automatically follow. And it gives you a sense of relief in your lower back, hopefully. Perfect. Going to allow myself to roll gently onto my back. I'm going to come into the banana pose. So put my body on the center line, pretty much of the mat. Start with just wriggling over gently, making sure your head starts actually on the mat. And we'll take the feet out down the center line so the legs are together, just sliding the heels out along the ground. Take a few little wriggles through your body to kind of let your spine sink to the floor, and take a little while for your body to start to decompress and realize gravity has shifted. We'll take the hands up towards the sky and just gently interlace the hands with the index finger pointing out to the ceiling. On the exhale, I'm going to let those hands drop slowly with control over my head towards the ground behind or over the front end of the mat as it is now. And the reason I'm letting it come down very slowly is because I want to be sort of utilizing the openness of the shoulders rather than coming down quickly and tightening things up. I'm going to take this into the side bend. I'm going to take a little breath and just shuffle the shoulders into a side bend over towards the left side to start with. And then when you're ready, taking the legs over in a similar fashion so that you started to look like a banana that's rolled onto its side. And then we just close our eyes and relax. Now we're trying to keep the shoulders and the hips flat to the floor. And some people do actually like to cross their legs over. So in this case, it would be the right leg crossing over the left. And then I'm going to start to bring myself back. So I'm going to move the shoulders first. And then bring the feet back on. And then I'm going to slowly make my way out to the opposite side. And then when you're ready, we'll move the legs. There's no hurry. Found it a little easier on this side than it is on the previous side. In the option to cross the legs over at the ankles, that feels really comfortable. It pulls on your lower back and sort of tugs on your sciatic nerve, then definitely come back with the, might even need to take some of the curve out of the spine in this sort of general first phase where you lie on the ground completely. And we can take a breath and come back again. In center, legs and arms. And if we bring the hands back down by the side of the body, it'll take a little while again for the sense of feeling to come back into your body. You need to wriggle out a little bit. I'm going to let myself come into the stirrup pose. All intents and purposes looks very like happy baby pose. I'm going to take the bolt first through the block, just place it underneath the back of my head so it's not pressing into my neck. And I'll let one leg at a time come in towards my body, just taking the hands lightly around the shins to start with. And I'm simply going to let the body weight of legs and arms draw the knees towards the ground. The knees are out wide, so I'll open the groins out a little bit as well. And just really allow my body to accustom to the change of direction, giving myself a little bit more chance to release through the hips. Maybe the knees are gradually going down, but also wider at the same time. And then, bring the hands on the inside, hold the thighs. And I'm taking hold of my ankles. It's an easy place for me to reach to. I'm going to take a breath and then slowly lift the soles of the feet over the top of the knees. They're coming into this very slowly. I'm doing my best to keep my spine flat to the floor. I'm not worried about taking the hands around the little toe side of the feet. If your hips are open enough for you to do that easily and your spine stays lovely and flat to the floor, by all means do. But if you've got sort of pretty average hips, you might find that you need to hold onto that ankle area. And to let the heels come back in. And then release feet to the floor. And roll gently over to my right side. And use the hands to lift up gently. So I'm going to take my last sort of strong yin posture as I squat. I'm going to use the bolster now, sorry, the block, again, saying bolster for some reason. I've got it obsessed on my mind this evening. If you find that your ankles are tight, I would suggest taking a brick as well and placing that on top of the block across. So the heels are going to sit onto the block. So it would come forward, its feet out as wide as the block, and just roll the heels into the corner edges. And then, as I said, if your ankles are tight, then you might want to take the brick and put that underneath your sitting bones, so you're actually supported. You're still getting the stretch into the ankles, so you're still getting the stretch into the knees, the hips, getting the benefit of stretching out through the lower back as well. But we're not putting so much intensity into the sort of tenderness through the ankle joint here. Try and let the shoulders relax a little bit. Again, head position really is of choice. And I'm just going to let myself sit here and think. Try and let the muscles relax. So some of the muscles as you come into this are sort of tight, they're just holding you in position. Now, it mightn't feel initially like that's an effortless thing. But if you actually allow yourself to become very aware, you do notice that the muscles are stretching and that the tendons and ligaments of the joints are being affected. We're trying to sort of tap into that and let ourselves ease into those areas of the body. Okay, but let ourselves come out of that. So just using the hands behind for a little bit of support, untangle the legs, give them a gentle stretch out. Going to use the bolster underneath the back of the thighs for our final resting posture here. I'm also going to use the block underneath the back of my head, which is purely there so that it's easier for me to look at the clock. Otherwise, I would have had my head flat to the floor. But you can choose. Push cushions are always a very good option as well, rolled up blankets. Rolling down gently, I'm going to use my heels to hook the bolster in towards my bottom. So then when I allow myself to slide my heels out towards the corner edges of the mat, the bolster is really quite close up. It's really not touching my knee joint at all. It's more top of the hamstring, bottom of the buttocks area. And then just letting the toes roll out to the side. And they're going to take the hands out, comfortable distance to the side, palms up. Close my eyes, have a final little wriggle through the shoulders. And just as we've done before, try to let the body sink. This is more restorative than you've seen past it. So we're not looking to put stress into the body, we're trying to take it away. We'll slowly start to wriggle the fingers and toes and breathe a little deeper. As you become more aware of your body, allow yourself to gently move the wrist and the ankle, allowing the entire nervous system to turn itself back on gently. And if you're ready, allow yourself to stretch in any way that feels good to you. And then, if you haven't already, we'll slide the heels along the ground, over the bolster. We'll use one foot to just move the bolster forward out of the way. And then we'll just draw both knees back in towards the body, taking the hands lightly around the shins. Let us rock from side to side, nice and gently, and then finally with an exhale, we'll roll over to our right side. Let the legs come down, and the hands come underneath, push away from the floor to come up, and then hopefully there's enough room to cross your legs in front of the bolster without feeling squeezed. That was the plan anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this evening's class. Bring your hands towards your heart, closing your eyes. We'll take a longer breath here. And just slowly exhale, letting the chin drop. Finding a bow forming. Follow that to the floor. As the breath starts to return into the body, let the spine naturally build back up. Head lift. Namaste. Hope you enjoyed. See you again on the mat soon. Take care for now.